Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MSP Online Marketing Podcast. I am your host, Chad Lyons. Before I begin, you probably notice that my voice sounds a little off today. Well, I'm just getting over a horrible flu that took me out for a few days last week. It wasn't COVID, thankfully, but it's pretty bad. And now my voice sounds like this. If it's hard to listen to, then I do apologize. But there's the story behind it. Also, I'd like to invite you guys to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find us just by searching for Epowet, EPOWET. We publish a lot of good tips and tricks to help you guys get started with your marketing and really to get the most out of it as well. And we're also on Twitter and LinkedIn if you'd like to follow us there. For a quick recap, in the last episode, I talked about breaking the rules of online marketing and when that might be the sort of thing that you could find helpful. This week, we're going to go back to talking specifically about SEO. And really, this episode can be thought of as a continuation of episode 2. In episode 2, we talked about using keywords to create content that ranks high in Google and appeals to your ideal customers. If you recall, I also talked a little bit about local search at that time. I talked about how when you search for something like coffee shop, that Google automatically knows to show you coffee shops that are nearby, rather than, say, like a Wikipedia article about coffee shops, which wouldn't be quite as helpful. And we talked about the reason that Google does that is because they understand the intent behind searches like that. The intent there is to take action. If you're searching for a coffee shop, it's very likely that you plan to visit a coffee shop. So that means that local searches have the intent primarily of engaging with a local business. And so Google tries to provide search results that reflect that. So in this episode, we're going to take that a little bit further. We're going to talk and dig more into local search specifically and how you can use local search to really get in front of your ideal customers. You see, for any business that serves a localized market, local search is invaluable. In fact, it's probably the way that your new clients are going to find you online. But what is local search and how do you use it? Well, we kind of talked about that already. It's the idea that when people are searching Google, oftentimes they are looking for results that are close by to them. And I'm going to tell you how Google categorizes local search. It's a little bit technical, but it's important to know because it helps you know how to use those categories to really laser focus your content. So here are the 3 categories of local search. First is near me searches. These are searches that explicitly use the words near me in them. For example, coffee shops near me. The second is geo-targeted searches. So this is a little different. This is, for example, coffee shops in Seattle. That would be an example of a geo-targeted search because you're using the name of the city in the search. The third is location-enabled searches. Unlike the other 2, this has nothing to do with the search term. Instead, this is when you have location-enabled or location services enabled on your device or in your browser. And when you have that enabled and you perform a search, Google will automatically prioritize local results. Of those 3 categories, location-enabled services is really the most common. So I said that you can use these categories to laser focus your content. What I mean by that is, let me give you an example. Let's say, understanding geo-targeted search results, for example, that informs you that people are searching and they're putting the name of the city or town or state or whatever. They're putting that into the search query. So if you use the name of your city in your content, then you're more likely to show up in those geo-targeted search results. I hope that makes sense. So again, those 3 categories of local searches are near me searches, geo-targeted searches, and location-enabled searches. So now that we understand the types of local searches, let's talk about the results, how you actually show up in Google. And this is highly relevant for the same reason that knowing the local search query categories is relevant. It will help you in targeting and focusing your content. So the first type of result is the Google local pack. You've seen this before. When you search for something on Google, oftentimes you will see a map in the search results. and 3 suggested businesses that match your search and their location on the map. That's the local 3-pack, or local pack, actually, is what it's called. And getting your business in the top 3 of the local pack so that it's showing up in that initial results, that's a pretty big deal. The reason is because it means that your audience is seeing you first. Remember, that's displayed above the organic results. The only thing above the 3-pack is ads. So when we talk about paid search and paid marketing, we'll go into that a little bit more. But so the top organic result, though, is this local 3-pack. Statistics, and I think these are from Bright Local, but statistics say that the local pack attracts 32% of clicks. And that's when the local service ads aren't present. But still, that's a third of clicks that go to these local pack results. Another cool thing about local pack is that it's consistent across devices. So it doesn't matter if your audience is searching from a computer, from their phone, or even if they're using voice search. So the first one is the Google local pack. Okay, the next one is Google Finder. When you see the results on local pack, down at the bottom, there's a link that says view all. Now, I know this is kind of hard to illustrate via audio. If you go to www.epauette.com/local-search, there's some screenshots there that kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. I mean, you can also just do the experiment yourself and do a search, or just trust me. But anyway, there's a little link that says view all. And if you click that view all link in the local pack results, what you get is the local finder results. These results are paired with Google Maps to show you the location of businesses being displayed. And then as you move the map around, the local finder results will actually update based on the area that you're viewing. Now, these results may not seem very important. Admittedly, the percentage of people that are going to click the view all button is probably fairly small. So maybe it's not relevant, maybe it's relatively unimportant from that user standpoint. But why are we concerned with this then? Well, local finder results are actually very important from a technical standpoint. These results represent Google's truth, so to speak. So they represent businesses as they actually rank. So think about that. If you can achieve a high ranking there, then you're achieving a high ranking, period. So even if you're not showing up in the local 3-pack yet, right? Let's say you're number 4, number 5, you're still moving on up, and that's showing where you're ranking. And so, in fact, whenever you see data from local search at all, whether it's the local pack or an organic search results or what have you, the result is actually being retrieved from local finder. So I hope you see what I mean. It's important. Okay, so let's move on. The last type we're going to cover is something that you're familiar with. It's localized organic results. These are very straightforward. These are the classic blue links that show up beneath the local pack when you conduct a local-based search. These are just the quote-unquote normal results that you see. The difference is that these are, of course, shown to you based on either your physical location or the location that you include in your query. So how do you rank in local search? Well, we understand now kind of how all that works, right? We understand how local pack works, why local finder is so important, and you're already familiar with localized organic results. But of course, the goal is getting your business in front of your customers. So how do you do that? Well, the first step is having great content, which is what we covered in episode 2. But after that, well, there's 3 big ways, and we're not going to dig into these right now. But in future episodes, we're actually going to dedicate whole episodes to these 3 things. So here they are. First is Google My Business. And this is really important for getting especially into the local pack. And so we're going to cover this probably in our next episode, actually. Second is citation management. If you don't know what that is A-OK. I think I covered that actually in episode 1 a little bit. I went into that. So maybe go back and listen to episode 1, learn a little bit about citation management. But again, we'll dig much deeper into it in a future episode. And the third is reputation management. So that's how many reviews you have and what your overall average review score is. And we'll cover all that later as well. Each of these elements are crucial in getting your business in front of your customers by ranking you high in Google results. And again, I want to reemphasize that your content on your website is very important as well. And I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but that's okay. Your website, there's some technical stuff on your website that's important too. And all of this stuff we're going to cover in future episodes. So, we're kind of leaving it short for now, but, check back and, we'll have all this waiting for you. So check back again, especially next week, to learn more about Google My Business. And this is a key element. And a lot of people, they really underestimate the importance of Google My Business, but we'll dig into it next week. And I know this is kind of a shorter episode this week, but that's okay. We're kind of closing up this topic that we kind of opened or hinted at least in episode 2. Next week, though, we'll dig into Google My Business and we'll learn a lot of things. And we'll talk especially more about things that you can apply. So we talked a little bit about changing your not changing your content, but adapting your content or focusing your content on ways that you can allows you to show up in local search results. But next week we'll have some really good advice on setting up your Google My Business and especially optimizing it so you can outrank your competitors even. So check back with us then.